Okay, team. So, what is next? Chuli is singing quite loudly. She's, for a little creature, she really belts these songs right out of like they're like belly singing.
Does she?
I would be still eye line with her, like clapping and stuff, and I'm gonna say, do you want to come forage the supplies with me?
She kind of like looks past you at the beetles that are kind of like aimlessly bumbling about the road. It's like, ah.
Let's go.
And we'll scuttle forward on all fours for a few before like catching momentum and going on our back legs. And
I will try and corral the beetles a little bit. And
they haven't gone very far. It's quite easy to go through them and look through all the stuff in their bag again. There's probably around 8 of these beetles in this little troop. If you're looking explicitly for healing potions to take for you, you can actually find them in this. This will make the supplies less valuable to someone else, but this is Indira's priority. Nab them for us. There is a one of the components, because these beetles, they're loaded underside, sides, top sides. These guys are overloaded. The beetles kind of stagger with the weight of it. With one of them, you do find 4 regular healing potions in a component. There's also, you know, healing salves and tinctures, which really mechanically don't hold a whole lot of purpose, but you would find a couple of potions, because Drow do a lot of their medicine through healing potions.
I'd give 1 healing potion to each person in the party.
I can't imagine that they would have this because this is basically army supplies. But is there any off chance that they had mithril ingots on them? No, it's probably the answer, but...
If they did, you would have already found them.
I know, but
Mr. Man.
I didn't check. I didn't explicitly check.
I know, yeah,
time,
it's worth explicitly checking.
Yeah.
Man who has no chill.
Man who has no mithril ingots.
Julie will be like grabbing boxes and swinging them open and pulling on leather straps and sometimes just taking stuff and like stuffing them in the, like finding a big belt and like putting it around her and kind of like stitching stuff to it, stuff like that.
If I find any rope, I want that. If I find any like, hand axes, I want those.
You would find at least 2 hand axes in there.
Okay. I'm up to 5 hand axes now.
What are you doing with those?
I am aware from one of the Patreon games that you can never have enough hand axes. It will be important.
Is it a hempen rope or a silk rope?
This would be a high quality silk rope.
Sweet. Now I have
that makes sense.
100 feet of silk rope.
Because this isn't military supplies, this is the military supplies for her entourage, right?
And also you have to consider silk is a lot easier to get down here than hemp.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be hemp rope, it would be equivalent.
I mean, even mushroom cord.
Yeah, mushroom. And then if there's anything that
Depends
stands out to me.
Other than that, no. Those would be the things of interest. Chuli does take a couple of things, but like a letter opener in one box, like
oh my God,
things
is it
like
sharp?
that.
Jesus Christ!
It's sharp enough to open letters.
She's got a shank.
Not enough to open wrists.
Considering giving
wow.
me hand axes.
You could if you wanted. She could wield one.
I mean, a hand axe for her would basically be a great axe, I imagine. But
she's a small creature, not a tiny creature.
Okay,
you know what? I will. I'll offer her one of the hand axes.
She will take it. Like
and then I'll put my hands up.
No, she does it like way away from you, but she definitely does it.
Okay, I'll say only for protection, okay? And hunting.
She licks her lips looking at one of the beetles that kind of like shakes its head a bit, sensing the hunter.
And then I'll look over at the boys and I'll be like, we can't have her be helpless. What if she gets separated from us?
We can't.
I'll be honest, she's still helpless with or without that.
She's less helpless now.
Right. Sure.
Hey, Julie.
She turns, sees it's you, and her face drops, and she puts her hands on her hips.
Vale would like to speak to you, and I point to Vale.
What am I supposed to say?
Tell her to be very careful.
She will walk up to Vale and then be like,
Yes, right. It's very dangerous. You have to be very careful with it. No. He points at his sword. You see how this is safe? Safe. When you are not using that, you have to keep it safe. He would take it off her gently and tuck it through the belt carefully that she's put around her. See? Safe.
I just look Indira and go,
and then she does the same thing.
What are you doing,
She'll help
Indira?
us hunt. She might stand a chance against a smaller foe.
She'll help us
I
hunt
won't
what?
have her helpless.
A rat?
It's a hand axe. It's not going to hurt us very much. And she has no interest in hurting us anyway.
She's already tried to bite me.
Poor baby. I think we can move on.
Okay, fine. But hand over your little finger. I'll show you how much it hurts to have something bitten.
Don't
what?
threaten me with a good time, Vale. Let's move.
So, where are you going? And what are you doing with these beetles?
Well, Gilwyn needs to pull his finger out of his ass and point it towards that samurai lady so that he can let her know about all these military supplies and she can send someone to come and corral them and filter them into the city slowly over time and in various directions.
Huh?
Chuli just does the same thing, even though Chuli don't know.
But you know, the Ronin, the slave army.
What? Yeah?
The weapons, it would be best used by an army.
They are woefully under-equipped. Like, really, you know, like, I could kill at least 20 with a dagger.
That said, we cannot bring these into the city ourselves. It would be impossible, if not suicide.
What if we
So,
brought them off the road? Just
yes,
brought
we
them
are
off
not
the
going
road.
to leave them on the road, I assume, but we want to arrange them to come and collect them rather than taking them the whole way. A herd of beetles would stand out.
Especially ones equipped with military-grade equipment.
We
Or
ought
supplies.
to put all the supplies in our mushroom shelter.
They
Too
wouldn't fit.
close. Likely to be found by scouts surveying the area anyway.
Chuli at this
beetles-
point has started trying to gather as many of them up. But bear in mind, they're like 20 feet tall and she's 3 feet tall. She can hold on to the reins of like one at a time.
The beetles are quite useful as well, I imagine. Consider a charge from these things. In fact, consider me on the floor unconscious after being hit by one of these things. They would be useful. So we just need Gilwyn to let them know.
Chuli does this.
What
Yeah.
am I saying?
Well, tell her that we've got... how many beetles are there roughly?
8.
We've got 8 beetles south of the city at this... he would presume... He has a map, so he would give like an approximate location.
Yeah.
Ready for collection for them to take into the city one by one over a length of time, and that they are laden with military supplies.
The messages I can send, I can't be quite that detailed.
Beetles, precisely where they are, military supplies, come get.
Easy. And I will recite that word for word.
Yeah.
Obviously, the precisely where they are is...
Yeah, that's totally fine. When you cast Sending, you almost feel like a lute string connects you across the worlds. And you do feel that definitely the message has been received, and the Ronin leader of the slave army will reply, very well. This will serve our cause very well. Give my thanks to Erevail. We will send to collect. And that's that.
He thanks you and said it will serve them well and they will come to collect.
Cool, good. So now what I think we do is move closer to the city slightly, away from this, bring the beetles away from the road, and set up camp again with a watch on the road. And when people come by, we can give them a good old checkaroo, and you know, if they are the right person, give them the beetles, and then bugger off.
Okay. How far out are they?
Oh, a week or two.
2 weeks at a casual pace. Probably send people out quite a bit faster than that.
We're having a holiday. Isn't this great?
I look around at the environment and
A giant bat swoops over, blocking out the light for a few moments. And you
Then I
see
look at
Chuli
Chuli.
try to chase it, even though it's 100 feet up in the air.
Excellent, Vale.
Well, what would you have suggested?
No, you're absolutely right. I'm just being a little moody bastard.
Well, now we can take some real food from these and have a nice meal with the wine.
Wine is good.
But, at that quote, but we first need to move away from this site and get the beetles away from the road and find a good, safe campsite.
You do that. I sent a message. I'm exhausted. Wine, please.
The wine is off limits for now.
Wine, please.
Yeah, no, you're already whining. Okay, now look what you have done. Imagine her drunk. She would murder you.
No, I give her another ration and shoo her away as she's doing that.
She will
There you
just
go.
cram the whole length of jerky into her mouth lengthways. And
It's
walk
alarm
away.
response now.
Yeah, she
Do
is
this, receive food.
Yeah, it's working.
Well, okay, let's get through this. We need to relax.
Right, let's get a little bit of work done, and then we can do some hard relaxing.
Yes, I like that.
Right, let's find somewhere. And I presume if we all get on a beetle,
And it'll start leading them.
and then the rest will follow. Because
Yeah, there is a specifically lead beetle that seemed that was the point. Also, they were following the palanquin. So you can do that. We're going to need a survival roll to find a good place for this. One of you can do it with advantage. I'm assuming it's going to be Sereni.
Sereni!
Ian, you look fucking amazing with that beard.
Oh, thank you.
It just keeps getting better and better. You're like, oh
It
man,
does
this
look
week
really
Ian
good.
It
looks
does
good
look
with a
good, yeah.
beard, and then next week you're like, oh man.
Dean,
Senior Bean!
So, you go off a little bit the opposite direction than you made your camp, into the fungal forest, not taking any sort of direct road, but where there's a bit of a ravine that you can sort of march the beetles into. It's a bit of a stream, actually, but they are far too large creatures to mind. Indira does have to pick Chuli up at one point because Chuli goes face first into the water. But
I would actually often like hop down and indicate for her to get on my back and just piggyback
she
her a
will
lot.
absolutely do that, and will like hack at branches with the axe every now and
Fuck
again,
yeah.
and then like grab fruit, and then we'll like feed you fruit.
Love it.
Mushroom fruit, but still.
Given that Indira is being so nice to her, Serena would also sort of sing to her a little bit because, I mean, mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
She has some
She
singing talent.
will sing along. It does seem that, like, of talents that this girl has, she's a singer. She doesn't know what you're singing, but then you're not really singing a song either. You're just singing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more than pleasant. You lead the beetles to a little bit of a grove off in the fungal forest, away from anywhere, just a sort of stone area where, for one reason or another, things haven't grown here. In fact, Serena can figure out why that reason is, because you got a good roll. Looks like a dried up waterhole at some point, because it is a warmer part of the year, and it just passed a dry area. Maybe this is a lake at other times of the year. But perfect place for you to kind of corral the beetles into like a circle and make a bit of a camp. You do notice, kind of, I imagine at least once you would fly up and take a look around the surroundings, because you can. Signs of civilization to the south, not drow civilization, you know, like camps and things, little tents and huts in the fungal forest built around water sources or anything, as they would be in any other part of the world. So you do see, you know, signs of life out in the forest, but
And
ways away.
they look like permanent settlements as far as
Yeah.
you can go. Yeah, okay. Good.
But much more primitive than a drow or dwarven.
Yeah, I'm just
thing.
double checking because tents, army, no.
No, it doesn't look like army tents.
Yeah.
And you can corral your beetles here, and they can feed off the trees nearby. You can forage and hunt if you want.
Cool. I
mean, these are likely to be seen, right?
We're a fair way away from the road, not like direct line
You're a
of
fair way
sight.
away from the road, not direct line of sight, a good few hours away. But, you know, I mean, if they had someone who could fly, it would be quite easy to find. You don't know how common that is, but creatures that climb, maybe. You don't have a foolproof hidden place, and you're not going to with 8 beetles carrying sometimes loads which are like double their height, you know? So it's like a 3-story building lumbering around, you know?
I mean, if they find us, then they find us and we probably have to run. If not, then we have done a very good deed, hopefully. Do you have like a useful spell to heat things up?
To
Heat things up.
I can warm things up. I can't really.
Well,
Why?
I thought maybe we could have some warm food for once, but I don't really want to start a fire.
I can warm things up.
How warm? Like tepid, you know?
Like your ass cheeks 2 seconds after you've farted. Warm.
Oh, do you has Gilwyn ever used heat metal?
No.
No, I thought he had.
You might have seen Melody use that once or twice.
Alas.
Metal has been heated, but not anymore.
Like it's the kind of warm that you kind of just wish it was not warm.
Yeah, maybe we just better eat it cold then, I guess.
I can like give it a little bit of a flavor.
Oh, cool! Like give it a good barbecue tang, you know? Hmm?
It'll be okay. I can try. I haven't done it before.
Yeah, do it. It'll be nice, guys. We're having barbecue.
Well, don't advertise it because then
Something that they do on the beaches the tropical beaches of some islands is berry coals. Doesn't make a lot of smoke. We could make hot food.
This is like an anti-beach episode.
We had a beach episode earlier in this season.
I don't know if it will be the same under dirt, but we could make hot food.
We could try it.
How do we get the coals in the first place?
Small
Why,
fires.
why don't we cook in our hut?
We are a fair way from it.
No, I mean,
Yes. Ah. Okay. So what? Would the smoke just stay in it though and billow out?
yeah, but after we're long gone, right?
No.
How long does this last?
Like 12 hours, 8 hours, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Also might suffocate us.
No, we'd have to stay inside of it. We could just cook in there and
You
like a
could
smokehouse.
absolutely use your tiny hut as a smokehouse. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Because it's not like one of you casting Tiny Hut. If it was one of you casting Tiny Hut, I'd be like, oh, well, the smoke. Like, don't worry about it. But because it's like an items Tiny Hut, yeah, you probably would have trouble if you were sitting in there. But absolutely use it as a smoker. That's a great idea.
Can
That's-
you choose? And you can choose what leaves it, right? So
Yeah,
once
yeah.
we're done smoking, you can just filter out the smoke in like a tiny, tiny amount over a longer period of time, so it doesn't leave like a huge.
It will just kind of... The smoke is... You don't really know how this thing works. And it's not like you're casting it, so it just is. But yeah, you can smoke some mushroom meat. Absolutely. While you've been discussing this, the beetles seem quite happy to be away from the road and in somewhere that they seem a little bit safer. These beetles always seem happier when they're being guided as well, and being taken care of, because they've been bred to be like that. Chuli has taken a flat stone that's kind of propped up in this area and has painted on it in the mud. And there's mud and like a little bit of it's a dark mud, and has painted what kind of looks like an upside down stick man.
An upside down stick
As a
man.
kid would draw a stick man, like bup 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 bup, but it's upside down, and it's like and does a little handprint under it as well. And she does it quite. It's quite a large little mural.
Comprehends done, isn't it, by now?
Oh yeah. It
long
was
done.
done a while ago.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to be something religious.
Give me a religion check to
Probably.
see if you've ever seen it before.
A religion check?
Yeah. Anyone else doing one or just Gillen?
I'll do it.
Fuck it. Let's
suppose
go
I'm
for it.
vague.
Buck wild.
Oh,
Wrecked.
hey.
All of
course
you are
I
like,
did.
okay, it's religious. Gilwyn, you think maybe this is linked to whatever creature this is. But Serena does recognize this holy symbol, or unholy symbol, perhaps, because it is of a fell faith. It is the symbol of the Prince of Madness, a god of madness and insanity and quirkiness and strangeness and all of those things. Quite noticeable because he was married to the Empress of the Shadowfell at some point, and was cast out for that, for whatever happened there. And that would explain the very quirkiness of Chuli. If she was some sort of race that has been changed or always has, or because of their madness finds worshipping the Prince of Madness, the Voice of Madness, Liverian, some people call him, is just appropriate. The symbol is usually an upside down man, sometimes done very artfully. this sort of functions just well enough.
So when Serena realizes that, she would almost burst out laughing. It would be quite a unusually visceral reaction for Serena, and would just say, "That is the symbol of the Prince of Madness, one of the pantheon under my mother, and no less than her former husband."
But I'm awfully glad that Chuli's on our side.
Yeah, I don't get that. She's a crazy little thing that has a hand axe.
She marches up to Gilwyn and
I think she wants to, you know, with your balls.
she just opens her mouth, which I guess makes your case even better. But still.
I'll take 2 rations and plop one in each hand.
Has she had any reaction to my birthmark?
No.
No. Okay,
Not
so
at all.
she's clearly not familiar with that. But
No, from your knowledge of the faith, a lot of Shadow faiths don't necessarily acknowledge the Shadow Empress. It's not worshipped much in the material world, which is kind of weird because in the Shadow world, all the other faiths are kind of worshipped under her. And
Well,
that's kind of her regime would be, oh yeah, if she returns, then she would lead a pantheon of actual gods. And he
Well, I
would
have
be a part
heard.
of it.
Oh, sorry. Well, I have heard like stories or songs about the Prince of Madness. Or...
When it's mentioned, yeah, you definitely would have heard songs that at least hearing that you're like, oh, yeah, there's stories about how this god took the form of a swan quite often, which is why a lot of people claim swans are assholes. Lots of the just strange happenstance that don't seem quite real enough make sense under the guise of being a twisted backwards miracle from the Prince of Madness and things like that.
Riley,
Yeah,
turn into a swan.
this isn't this isn't some kind of show where I just turn into anything you tell me to turn into.
I think it's his kink, actually.
Yeah, it's my king.
Yeah, I mean, you ever seen a swan? They've got like powerful muscles in like the neck and the beautiful feathers. I mean, I
Very
understand
elegant.
it.
Yeah.
Very, yeah. I'm not doing it.
Graceful.
What's in it for me?
I will.
Write me a song, Gilwyn.
Okay, easy. Turn into a swan.
But like soon.
Oh, she's got you there, Gilwyn. Oh, soon.
She will kind of like crack her neck and polymorph into a swan. And then kind of strut around. Yeah. Like she owns the place.
I'll like try and get Chili's attention and like point her towards the swan.
Indira's kind of visibly upset about this.
Julie, her eyes widen. She gets the hand axe and she starts chasing after the swan. As Riley, knowing that she can outrun this little beastie, just kind of encourages it and just runs around the camp honking while Julie's chasing after.
Look at Vale and go, well, that didn't work.
I'll catch Gil's eye and I'll say, she's a person. She's not your entertainment.
It's not for entertainment. I was testing something. Riley, sorry.
Serena would probably put 2 and 2 together that if they worship them down here, ain't no swans. So a swan wouldn't be a symbol of a faith of him down here.
she's not going to mention that. She's just
No,
gonna
I know.
say
It's just that
herself.
Serena would put that together.
Indira would try to catch up to Chuli and get down to her eyeline again. And then
She'll like stop and look at you.
say, as soon as you're done eating. And then I'll point to her hand axe and I'll point to my axe and I'll say, practice. I'll teach you. I don't know what that means, but I'll be over there.
She said, I'll kill you.
I understand that we are not particularly busy right now, but I'm not entirely sure that that is a good idea or a good use of time.
We're camping for the night, right?
Yes.
What would you rather I do?
Not arm the small creature that we now think is mad, magically so, with a weapon, and then teach it how to use it.
Okay, well, the creature is a person, and her name is Chuli, and she's obviously on our side. So I'm going to teach her how to take care of herself.
She might be on our side, but she's also a worshipper of a mad god who inspires madness. Wouldn't it be mad if she were to suddenly change her opinion during the night and axe someone in the throat?
That would be mad.
See?
I don't like that.
No, it would be madness. What I'm saying is you cannot simply say that this person is like this or like that because of what their god affects them like.
I'm going to treat her like a person because she's a person.
Okay,
And,
treat her like a person. Do not teach her to wield a weapon. Why don't you teach her something nice, like how to play a game of cards, or how to cook, or I don't know, something nice, like how to swim? They could equally save her life someday.
Indira will just like kind of throw her axe down into the dirt and just sit down next to it and just brood. I don't like the way that you guys think of her.
Fine. That is fine.
She's eccentric. She's not a wild animal.
She's kind of wild.
She literally bit a piece of jerky out of my hands when she was in the cage. No hands, right?
She was enslaved. She was hungry.
Right, yeah, but you use your hands.
She can't communicate with you.
Yeah, but you use your hands. That is mad. Like, you get your face much closer to me when you use your face. Right, Serena?
Yes, but I mean, this is a... Sorry, what was the point of this argument again? I lost track at some point.
At this point,
They don't
Julie
want me to
walks
teach
over
her.
and carefully puts her axe on top of Indira's axe, so like they're, even though it's much smaller, it's like lining up, and then just sits next to Indira in like the same kind of broody pose.
I want to teach her how to defend herself.
Right, teach her to run. Because wielding that axe against me would not save her life. Not even against Gilwyn.
Thank you.
No offense,
That.
buddy.
My distinct impression of this underworld is that it is quite dangerous for the average person. And I do not think that a knight of swinging an axe is going to... It is going to suddenly allow her to wield it, but it is not going to do any harm either.
Well, we've seen that she emulates. Right?
Well, yes, and she already
Perhaps-
has an axe. She is going to emulate using it, whether or not she is taught.
But
Wouldn't you rather that she knew how to use it safely?
I'd rather have not been
Rather
given a
that she
hand
knew
axe.
How to hold it so that it wouldn't fly out of her hands?
I'd rather have not been given an axe.
Well, I guess that's tough because she's been given an axe.
Anyway, let's cook. We're hungry.
There's like this awkward silence as
As
like
there's
Gilwyn
just
goes and sets it
The
up.
smoke and the smell of the smoking
Yeah,
mushroom.
he like walks out waving away like smoke trail off himself like phew.
Serena back to chiseling away at the giant tooth of the thing that she's sculpting gradually.
Can I like sit down next to Serena after a little while.
Yep. Serena sort of acknowledges you with a nod, but unless you speak, is just going to carry on chiseling away.
What are you making?
I thought I would make a new masthead an alternative masthead for the Crimson Dawn.
Wow. What is it?
Oh, this will be Indira. The last one I made for it is a mermaid, so it seems appropriate. Although having the captain be the masthead as well might be ill fortune, but
Well, that's gonna look really nice on a ship. You've chosen a really. I'm sorry.
at this point she does look down at you with a slightly quizzical look on her face. You're sorry for what, Gilwin? Have you finally realized the reverence I deserve?
No, I'm sorry. I almost killed you, and by almost I mean almost killed you. I'm not being dramatic. We both know that's what happened.
Serena just looks at you, just sort of laughs for a moment. As Gilwin, I appreciate your sincerity, but there is no need to apologize. I am fully aware of what such magics can do to a person. I use it myself. And even if you had killed me, I would only return to my mother's side. It is it is only water off my back, effectively.
Huh?
She's a mermaid.
You'll do what now?
I'll return to my mother's side.
Okay, but like figuratively, like I will be with her at last.
No, quite literally, Gilwin.
This happened before, or you're just
No, this is the only life I have on this realm. But when one so linked to the Empress dies, my soul is not going to go rot in the fell. I will be taken to her side to serve there, as is my proper place.
so. Serena will no longer exist, but Serena will still exist.
I suppose you could phrase it in that way. I do not know the technicalities of it myself, but I will not die. Not in the real sense of obliteration.
Well, if I ever accidentally kill you, I'll feel better about it now.
She laughs slightly at that and says, "Yes, that would quite. That said, this life, fleeting though it is in this realm, is rather enjoyable. So if you can avoid doing it unless compelled against your will, I would appreciate it, Gilwin."
I will. I feel stupid for apologizing now.
No, sorry, Gilwin. I do not mean to, as I say, I appreciate your sincerity. I do not mean to belittle it. It is merely a difference between myself and some others who would be forced to wander the realm of shadows if they died without any sense of self.
Whoa. You just shattered my worldview. Talk, Serena. That looks good. And I pat her on her fin.
Which one? Some of them are awful low down.
Like where her knee would be.
You get half a leave.
That's where mermaid vaginas are, Dean.
Just
Right
got
on.
to fish base.
During that time, Vale would have taken out the bottle and the fancy glasses, sat down next to Indira.
So would
sat
Indira
there.
not be training with Chuli?
I mean, we're just sitting down to eat, right?
Yeah. Would that be after?
Yeah, I said after eating.
I've brain.
Oh, Indira is still totally doing it.
Yeah, okay,
Definitely.
cool.
Just not yet.
It means Chuli is with Indira as well. Then. 'Cause Chuli's
He
just sort of sitting there.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He'd
She's,
sit
you know
there.
what she's actually doing, just because she's probably not going to have much of an effect on this? She's undoing the braid in her hair, very carefully, and then is going to start doing an identical braid on the other side.
I like it. Vel would sit down next to Indira, give her a little nudge with his shoulder, and say, "That was close.
What was close?
I thought you were going to die, or be kidnapped. Not sure
Can
which
you
is
imagine
worse.
me kidnapped?
Yeah, you would be really, really unhappy.
Yeah. I would have died, or I would have died.
No, I'd have come got you.
I know you would. And she would raise her glass to his. Thanks for looking after me.
Don't usually need it.
Sorry, I was dead weight there for a minute.
That is a joke in poor taste.
Sorry, I keep doing this. You know I can't let her be defenseless, right? Look at her and look at me. Vale, what do you see?
Two very crazy women.
Right. But cut from the same crazy cloth, I think.
Yes. Perhaps.
The similarities are undeniable.
Perhaps.
I have to look after her now. I can't not. She's a link.
You need to be careful about putting so many people before yourself.
I don't see this as putting her before myself, though I would.
Having her around is simply more dead weight.
I disagree.
We get caught or ambushed, you would go back for her, attempt to help her, and that could be your death.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you that I'm okay with dying a noble death. I'm okay with dying if it means that I was doing the right thing.
It's not noble to die when you could live. That is an easy route that madmen and honor-bound warriors take every day. But to live and go on living when you could have died, that is what takes true tenacity.
And that's what I aim to do. I don't hope to die.
Then don't.
But I do make my decisions carefully, Vale.
Then don't put yourself in situations where you're increasing your risk of dying.
It's too late. She was put here in my lap. I can't just ignore that. I feel like you know exactly how I feel right now.
Yes, but I don't like it.
It's scary. It's vulnerable. It's hard. But you can't ignore it.
Fine.
Thank you.
If
for
we
understanding.
are in a situation where you are going to die because of her, I will make her end swift so that you might live. And I do not care if you would hate me for that.
I don't think I could hate you, Vale. I would be very angry for a very long time.
I intend to live a long time anyway.
Me too. And she'll just kind of lean her head on his shoulder. Hang out.
What do you intend to do with that long life of yours?
Free slaves.
Right, yeah, but what if you could, have a house or houseboat.
You have a
And
houseboat.
and live somewhere nice. Maybe occasionally change as the seasons change, and spend time with someone you like. Maybe a few friends from time to time. Feed your little mad fey child in the morning, in the evening.
How do you not see that that's the life that I'm living right now?
Because that one doesn't have such a huge risk of death. In my vision for your future, you are dead because you do not value your life as much as other people do.
I value my life very much. Very much.
You
I
should
think that
you should value it more than others.
I do. Some others.
If we were ever in a situation where I had been caught or was going to be killed and you could die to attempt to stop it, or you could run, I'd want you to run.
Oh, never. Never. No, never. You're the last of your people. I can't.
I've killed a lot of people.
Clearly, there's plenty more of me, right? And I can't have your race end when I could stop that by dying. There's no way. No way.
Indira, it's not... Look. I have captured many people and sold them as slaves. I have killed people in cold blood for money. I have done it because someone else told me to do it. I have killed people for cheating in games of card. I am not a good person. You try your entire life to be better than you are. You should continue that rather than sacrificing yourself for others.
Wouldn't that just make me a slave of yours?
Are
I
you
live
not?
by your will instead of mine.
Are you not already a slave? Are your actions not predetermined? Were I or Gilwyn in risk? Would you not simply come running like a dog at its master's call? You wouldn't think, should I? You would think, I must. Your shackles are there, just not visible to the naked eye.
I think that's where you and I differ, because I think that love is the only thing that I'd be willing to be a slave to.
Shouldn't teach her how to use an axe. She's too small. Should teach her how to use a dagger.
Do you have an extra dagger?
I do.
We have it. I'll give you a hand axe. It's a fair trade.
You can have the dagger for now.
And she'll give him a little kiss on the cheek. Thank you.
He shrugs, drinks his wine.
She's really happy. She's just visibly super happy now.
All right. So after a pretty pleasant meal of magical tiny hut roasted mushrooms, and some very fine, high quality wine, you settle into the evening's entertainments. Riley, I imagine, Riley is trying to remember as many songs and stories about this mad prince as possible, and kind of either find them in stories she knows or compile them with Gilwyn. In training Shuli, Indira, it becomes apparent that she knows how to fight. She knows how to use a weapon. She doesn't know any way how to dodge or parry, but you imagine, before she was captured, she probably was a more than proficient hunter. She knows how to move and how to wield that sort of thing. And Serena can chisel away at some bone. Mouth bone.
Tooth.
If you want to be a boring person about it.
You thought it was.
I'm using poetry
actually a
to describe
gargantuan-
things with further detail.
It's
Mouth
actually
bone.
a gargantuan walrus penis.
I actually was daydreaming about this. Having a bone weapon in a D&D game that's like legendary, and then just to turn out like 30 sessions later be like, yeah, that's like a dragon's dick.
Dragon pizzle? Let's go.
It's like a dick bone. Anyway. Oh, great place to take a break, because clearly I need one. At the dragon
Well, obviously, you call that. You'd be about to draw it across someone's throat, and you go, "Say hello to bad dragon."